Warzone, 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 Warzone.
Yeah, we gotta run around.
Warzone, Warzone,
Gotta get the people strong.
Warzone, Warzone,
Trying to spread the love.
Warzone, Warzone,
Preach about the blood.
Warzone.
Yo, what up? It's your boy Drew. Came here to give y'all this my keys to victory for the Danny Garcia Errol Spence battle that's going on this weekend. I know last weekend some of y'all got y'all fixed with the Tyson, Roy Jones, and Nate Robinson and Jake Paul and all that good stuff. But this week, this is the fight you should have been looking for. This is a big fight for the welterweight division. Unified champ Errol Spence versus Danny Garcia, former champ. And I'm just going to go with keys to victory, 3 keys to victory that I believe will help each one of these guys. I know they're not going to see it, so, I'm not giving anything away. I can't give anything away anyway because I'm not their coach and I haven't been in their practice. But all I can go by is what I've seen in the past, what I've seen in some of the training footage that they've posted and things of that nature. But here we go. Danny Garcia, number 1. He must use his jab early, and he must use his jab often. I've seen fights where Danny very rarely jabs. He's a big power puncher, and the man got stones in his hands. He can hit, man. He can punch. He's strong. But this fight, when he faces Errol Spence, if you don't jab, you can't keep Errol out your face. Nobody can keep Errol out their face. But it'll be even worse for you if you don't jab. Errol went 12 rounds with Sean Porter, and Sean Porter is the guy that's in your face the whole fight. He's always in shape, and he's always coming to make it a dog fight. Him and Errol both went at it for 12 rounds, and arguably, without the knockdown, it could have been either way to me. But Errol Spence, man, you seen it, man. He comes forward and he comes forward technical. He doesn't come forward like a knucklehead. He comes forward technical. And if Danny's not jabbing, he's gonna have a problem, man. That dude's gonna be a dead man. So he has to jab early and often, man. He has to keep that thing pumping. He has to keep something in Errol's face because it's already hard to deter him anyway. But if you're not jabbing, he's not gonna deter him at all. Number 2. Danny has to cut angles, man. I know he's not a guy who usually moves around like that, but this fight, man, he got to cut angles, bro. Because Errol know how to cut the ring off, man. And like I said, Errol's not just marching forward with his head down, being stupid. The dude knows how to box, man. So Danny has to cut angles. It's an open stance fight, so you got a southpaw against an orthodox. So Danny has to maintain that outside leverage. He has to have that foot on the outside, or it's gonna be problems, man. But Danny does that, man. Danny's strong, man. He's great. He's been boxing for a long time. Danny is a good boxer, man. So I'm not taking anything away from him. I'm just saying what I believe he needs to do in order to, make a dent in this fight. He has to maintain that outside leverage. He has to cut angles, man. Number 3, Danny has to have sharp counter punching, and he has to counter punch in combos, man. We seen where he's able to land that no-look left hook, and he's able to land that no-look overhand right. But that can't just be the only thing he's looking for, because if he does, he'll find himself by the 12th round battered and bruised if he makes it that far. So, keep those 2 in the arsenal. Keep the overhand right, the no-look overhand right. Keep the no-look hook. Keep that in your arsenal, but you also have to catch Errol, in between his combos with some sharp counter punching, and it has to be, more than one. Because again, it's hard to keep Errol off of you. So he has to jab and he has to counter punch sharply, man. It has to be crisp, because Errol also knows how to get out of there when he needs to. And you seen Errol knows how to box, man. He did that against Mikey Garcia, man. Y'all was looking for him to get a knockout, And Errol said, I'm going to box this dude for 12 rounds. And he boxed him for 12 rounds straight and battered him. Boxing. Not doing what he normally does where he just, gets in there, turns your insides into mush, and then gets you out of there. He boxed him for 12 rounds at distance for 12 straight rounds. And so, Danny, man, you got to have sharp counter punching. Danny has to be in shape. I hope he really got in shape during this camp. He has to be probably in the best shape that he's been in his career to handle Errol because, again, he forces you into a dogfight. And I don't mean like a sloppy looking dogfight, but if somebody's constantly in your face, you fighting each second of that fight. And so for 12 rounds straight, he got to be in shape. He got to use his jab. He has to cut angles, and he has to have sharp counter punching if he wants to walk away unified with his hand raised. All right, let's get to Errol. Errol has to win the war of attrition, and he's already good at doing that, which means he's coming forward. He comes forward with that high guard, and he has a nice jab, a quick jab, a stiff jab, and he uses that jab. I don't think I've seen Errol too many times come into a combination without putting his jab out there first. So he's very technical. So Errol has to win the war of attrition. He has to do what he usually does: march forward, tear that body up, turn his insides into mush, and break him down. Just break him down until he just can't go no more. And if Danny's not moving his feet and cutting those angles, Errol's gonna easily catch him, and he has to, eat those body shots. Errol has to cut off the ring. So again, if we go back to Danny, if Danny's cutting angles, Errol has to cut the ring off. If Errol doesn't cut the ring off, Danny's able to get the angles he needs to land those combinations and land that, keep that jab pumping. But if Errol wins the war of attrition and he cuts the ring off, then he's able to do what he typically does, which is beat you into submission. And number 3, Errol has to be defensively responsible even while he's attacking. We've seen Errol, he does get hit a little bit. No lie right there. The Sean Porter, man, Sean Porter was getting him, and like I said, either without that knockdown, it could have went either way. And Errol's my guy, man. I love Errol, but it could have went either way, man, without that knockdown. And Errol was getting caught. Errol was getting angles cut on him. Like I said, Danny has to. He has to cut that angle, and then if he can, use his hands to push Errol around to where he needs him to be to position him. So Errol has to be defensively responsible. Like I said, Errol never comes in on his attack not technical. He always comes in behind his jab and sees the opening, boom, boom. He'll mush your body up, throw that left hand, that straight left down the pipe. But sometimes in those combinations, just like you seen with Kell Brook, in those combinations, Errol can be caught. And that's anybody. Anybody that's ever sparred, boxed, done MMA, anything, any type of combat sports. When you throw a combination, you always have to be responsible, because you can get into throwing a combination and then slowly, as many punches as you throwing, somebody can catch you in between throwing those punches. So Errol is usually good at marching down with that high guard, coming behind his jab. But each second of this fight, he has to be responsible with that, because Danny, like I said, he could throw that no-look left hook, that no-look overhand right, and if it catch you by surprise, it's always that punch that you don't see coming, and anybody can be knocked down by it. And Errol is a strong dude. And by the way, I'm going to take Errol and Derrick James by their word. Errol knows his body the best. He lived in it. He's the only person that lived in it. So he knows his body the best. If he says he's good to go, that's what I'm rocking with. He's good to go. So just like Angel Garcia said, hey, if he said he's good to go, he's good to go. And that's what we going by. So if he's he has to be defensively responsible when he's throwing his combinations. Because like if Danny has sharp counter punching, and Danny has power, man. Danny is strong. Even though, he hasn't been 147 his whole career, even within that 147 division, he's still strong. He's strong, man. He's a strong puncher. And so if he catches you with that no-look left hook or that overhand right or some sharp counter punching in between your combinations, man, it could be lights out. But, you know, this should be a great fight, man. I really don't want to make no prediction. I would like to see it go 12 because I just think it'll be that good of a fight. But if we talking about stoppages, the only way Danny's going to stop Errol is if he catches him with one of those big counter punches, because Errol is tough, he's strong, and the only way Errol is gonna stop Danny, because Danny is tough. Danny's tough, man. He got an iron chin, he got a granite chin. He was taking some of Keith Thurman's best shots. So, and Keith Thurman is supposed to be one time, you know, known for power, and Danny was taking some of his best shots. So the only way Errol stops Danny is the way that he's typically been stopping people, which is he marches you down, he beats your insides to mush. So he goes to the body and has a sustained body attack. And when you can't take it no more, when you realize that you're in deep water by, you know, 8th round, you begin to give up and it's over with. You know, he'll start catching you to the head as well, and he'll take you out the game. But that's it, man. Saturday, December 5th, Errol versus Danny. It's gonna be fight of the year probably. It has the potential to have fireworks. Errol hasn't been in since last year before his car accident. I believe it was September or October when he fought Sean Porter. And you know, this should be a good fight, man. I can't wait to see it. Anyway, deuces. I love y'all. Brother Drew signing out. Peace.
Warzone, warzone. Warzone, warzone. Warzone, warzone. Warzone, warzone. Warzone, warzone.
Yeah, we gotta run around.
Warzone, warzone.
Gotta get the people strong.
Warzone, warzone.
Trying to spread the love.
Warzone, warzone.
Preach about the blood.
Warzone.